Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered! Today it's going to be a best of 3 here between ForGG and Light, starting on Ground Zero. Got these replays from RJB. Just search RJB TV in your YouTube search bar for fastest map games cast by an exceedingly passionate StarCraft Brood War fan. Bottom right hand corner we have the white Terran player. It is ForGG. And in the bottom left, OFFRACING, it is the... Oh, so excited for this. It's Light as a Protoss player. Man, I still think about that Light versus Flash game that I cast where Light was OFFRACING as Protoss. If you haven't watched it, join the other 30,000 people that have. And I'm going to put a link to it in the description or maybe in the top right hand corner here. If I don't do so and you want to watch it, just remind me in the comments. And I will go ahead and post the link. Okay, so a PvT here on Outsider. It's been a while since I've cast a game on this map. Four-player map. Little minerals-only expansions at the top and the bottom. High ground expansions featuring Vespene gas. And plenty of places to expand here because, again, it is a 4-player map. Alright, so another PvT for you PvT fans. I know there was a PvT yesterday, but man, I was just excited to cast Light OFFRACING as Protoss again, so forgive me. I think on Saturday I'll go ahead and cast a ZVP because haven't had one in a while. I think I overcorrected. 1 week I cast nothing but ZVP, so TVZ and PvT it was after that. Anyway, gateway coming up inside the main base of Light. Same thing for ForGG here, except it's a barracks inside his main base, scouting the wrong direction. And yeah, you guys know PvT, right? You know the drill. Expand a lot if you're Protoss, keep that tank count low, and you're going to win the game. That's basically it. I know it's hard. I know it's harder than that, but that is the recipe. Supply depot here. Are you going to expand or are you going to throw down a factory here for GG? What are we looking at, man? The gas tells me it's going to be a factory, and that SCV location tells me the same thing. Kakaru. Flying around. Kakaru. Kakaru. There's your factory coming up. All right. Cool stuff. So Marine out. Just trying to make sure if anything comes in here like a probe, he's going to have a decent chance to kill it. Zealot is out here, and yeah, this is just standard stuff. This is current meta stuff here, man. Go for singularity charge fast if you're a Protoss player. Try to put some pressure on your opponent, and as a result, one barracks expands are just not super popular at the moment. So you go for that factory just to make sure you've got something to deal with the Dragoons that are on the way. Whether it's Vultures, whether it's tanks, whether it's both, these are the choices that we have to deal with as a Terran player in the current meta. So, expansion time is now for Light. Again, fantastic player. His Protoss is so good. It is so good. And I know ForGG is a Terran legend. I haven't cast a bunch of his games. I just don't have a lot of his replays, unfortunately. For some reason, there aren't just many ForGG packs available on Team Liquid. If you have access to some ForGG replays, let me know. I mean, obviously, what the heck? Why did I do that? Obviously, RJB has some access to it, but I'm not sure if this was through Light or through ForGG. Anyway, yeah, I was going to chase that Dragoon away, but, you know, we're working on the range upgrade. Why would you... He's just checking. Okay, so he's checking to make sure there is an expansion. It's not a one-base play. It's not a fake out here, right? From ForGG, where he throws out the bunker, doesn't expand. He's got a couple extra factories back here and doing crazy stuff. Tank in production. Machine shop working on nothing at the moment. A little bit interesting. I know that we saw this from Artosis in the game that I cast yesterday, but it just seems weird to me that the machine shop isn't working on spider mines or vulture speed or siege mode, any of those things. He's got the resources for it, but instead he's going for an academy. Obviously, he's got that command center coming up at the natural base. The nexus at the natural for Light is coming up quite nicely, bottom left here too, and robotics facility follow up. I mean, this is just really standard stuff. Out of Light, we'll see how he executes it. Probably going to go for some Reaver drop action. Maybe just getting observers to deal with spider mines, which are sure to come in this match. There's just no reason not to get spider mines as the Terran player. Both against Zerg and, honestly, against Protoss. But more of an against Protoss thing. It's just your biggest problem as a Terran player is probably Zealots. Like, mass Zealots would crush you, if not for Spider Mines, I believe. So that's going to be your answer. They're also really good against Dragoons, though. So, I mean, I'm not going to say they're terrible against everything else, because that's not the case at all. Armory on the way for the Terran. And so far, not much pressure at all. I kind of expected Dragoons to try to get something done over here, but I think recognizing the timing on that expansion, he knows there's tanks out, so pushing in here with one Dragoon's not going to accomplish much at all. Second factory in production, armory finishing up. Robotics Bay, actually, before observatory. So it's like he knows he doesn't have to worry about spider mines. Interesting. I don't know how he knows that. He doesn't have any vision over here at all. He doesn't have observers, obviously. He hasn't been able to get in with anything but this Dragoon just to make sure there was an expansion here. So maybe he's... observatory's on the way. You can't skip it, but he definitely went for Reavers first. So here comes our traditional 2-Zealot Reaver drop action as soon as this Reaver pops out of the Robo. Barracks here to scout if, in fact, a shuttle is coming in to murder everything, as usually that does tend to happen. Engineering Bay coming in for Dem missile turrets as well. Well, I love the one Goliath to do with the shuttle, too. It's pretty good stuff. All right, where are we? Is it time? It's time. Pick it up. There we go. All right, so shuttle ready to rock. Moving out, a little bit slow. Doesn't have the speed upgrade. We might see that in this game. We might not. Siege mode finishing up here. And again, no spider mines, no vulture speed at all. Just seems like we are really going for tanks and a couple Goliaths here from time to time. Yeah. Couple Goliaths. Makes a lot of sense. All right, so the shuttle's heading up going for the natural base. There's a turret and 2 tanks with a bunker here. I don't know. I don't see this working out for Light super well, but he's taking a 3rd base on the left side of that 9 o'clock position. Whoa. What? While he's doing this... Sorry, my microphone cut out for a second there. I apologize. We didn't miss anything important, though, did we? Nah, we did not. So he's trying to find an angle to drop. That's not going to happen. Not with that turret there. Not with 2 tanks back there with siege mode. Yeah, the question is, you're going to be able to push. And I don't know about that. 3rd command center coming in here from ForGG. Probably going to expand here based on the location. Observer is recognizing that's happening. Bit of a Maynard transfer up to this 3rd base that Light is working on. And Engineering Bay making sure the shuttle can't get up there without getting spotted either. So it's a pretty chill game here, I got to say. Game 1 of our best of 3. Citadel of Adun coming in here from Light. He's up 60, or down, or actually up, sorry, 83 to 68. I know these colors are close together, but yellow versus yellow is our only other option here. Yellow looks so good for Terran, though. Yellow is just a good color overall, man. In Blizzard games, it's always very nice. This, I don't know what it is. Additional factories coming in, and is this going to be an attack? I don't know. I know I talk about reducing that tank count, and it does mean you have to kind of jump on tanks, be willing to sacrifice Dragoons to kill tanks, right? Maybe even not be cost efficient with it. Nice observer snipe, 3 pairs of Goliath missiles will do it. Another observer is here to fill in for his dead buddy. Oh, same thing, 1, 2, it doesn't get the 3rd though. And the observer survives for the time being. So ForGG pushing out a little bit here. Just slowly moving. Zealots trying to move out. 6 Zealots in production. Speed's on the way. It's not quite done yet here. Spider-Mine's finally getting started from ForGG. I love this, man. Just coming around this edge, trying to make sure that landing this base is doable, right? Having tanks protecting this choke is super duper important. The observer sees what's going on, recognizes what's happening, and I think, man, if you can get in here before spider mines are done. I love the spread on the tanks, though. ForGG's just, he's a legend. He's a long-time veteran, man. This is not his first TVP. This is not his first rodeo. But when the Zealots see, I'm just talking about when the Zealots have speed. Oh, and there's no spider mines at all. Oh, this is some really nice shuttle micro. Some really sick shuttle micro here. Oh my gosh, Light. Honestly, it's just, he has such an understanding of what sucks to deal with, right? He's like, you know, it's really, I hate more than anything is Reavers and shuttles. just taking so much HP off. This is just brutal. This is feeling kind of GG here at 10 minutes. 101 to 77 supply. The tank count has been reduced to 2. One just popping out of this factory here. Pushing back, is able to hold a little bit here with the bunker, with the spider mines, with the siege tank, but the third base is in trouble. And, oh, the third base is in so much trouble here. Golly, the Dragoons getting some free shots off on it. There is, in fact, a siege tank on the high ground, which is a little bit annoying. These vultures are trying to distract long enough to keep the third base alive. But, you know, Light's just like, I don't care. I'm going to get into this third base anyway. Just try to kill this thing. Force you to lift it off at the very least. Top left base being taken by Light during all of these shenanigans. Zealots on top of the SCV. Zealots on top of the vultures to some extent. Buying time. The SCV count is just getting obliterated here at the third base entirely. And this third CC taking the hits. Can it survive? The answer is maybe. Tank's firing, but can the Zealot take down the siege tank first? Oh, he doesn't even run it. Command center down. Third base down. It's a 4-basing Protoss versus a 2-basing Terran at this point. 65 to 50 total harvesters. Dragoons are just still picking off whatever they can find here at the third base. 49 SCVs for ForGG. His bunker's on fire. He's oversaturated at his natural base. His main base is oversaturated. He doesn't have a third CC. He has to start rebuilding it now. If at all, he can pull that off, and then just pulling back home. Light's like, all right, that attack, pretty good. I gotta say, killing that third base was extremely satisfying. Arbiter Tribunal coming in, 118 and 99 total supply. Army is not bad here for ForGG, I gotta say. It's really pretty fantastic. Setting up his siege. Where are the Zealots is always my question. Although this is a largely Vulture army. I kind of love it, actually. It's enough Vultures to dissuade the use of Zealots. And it also provides a nice buffer for these siege tanks, and you get the spider mines. This is great, honestly. You don't have to worry about getting jumped on by Dragoons when you're unsieged either, if you're a Vulture, you know? Yeah, Vulture count, pretty heavy. 126 to 109 supply. He's not... Is he taking a third? I don't know if he's taking a third, you guys. No. He's like, I gotta win this thing now. If I can get in here and take down this natural base and the main base of Light, I can win this game. I'm just pouring everything I have into tanks and into Goliaths. This is getting really dicey all of a sudden for Light. He's like, I didn't figure you'd counterattack this quickly, man. He doesn't have any anti-air, though, at all. And the shuttle scouts in. I don't know if there's enough tanks. Now there might be enough tanks to be worth a Zealot bomb. And here we go. Rolling in. Zealots first. Dropping more Zealots on top of everything in here. The Reaver just doing some pretty stuff. Really, really nice stuff. Oh, this Reaver, though. Tank count getting whittled down again. To 2. And maybe down to 0, and that feels like a last hurrah for ForGG. Is down 126 to 84 total supply. He never took a third base. This was as all in as he was going to get. And just too many bases mining here for Light. Look at that. Look at all that all along that left side. Just beautifully mining, beautifully happily mining. Not even worried about gas at his third and his fourth bases. He's just like, I just need the Zealots, man. Making Dark Templar. Still, are we getting... ForGG has no interest, none, in digging a third base. Yeah, he's down 135 to 104 supply. The economy advantage is just through the roof. Like, ForGG, he needs to win now, or it's not happening. It's just, there's no path here. Zealots getting some Spider-Mine drags onto the army. Just a couple here, though. It is +1/+1 for the ground units. For the Protoss, we've got an Arbiter in the mix now, providing some cloak. The scan comes in instantly. Trying to take down... Do you want to take down the Arbiter? Oh, nice target fire on that Reaver, wiping it out. Yeah, and Light just has enough here. It's almost Zerg-like. He just barely has enough to clear this out. The Vulture is trying to sneak into the natural base while the army's out of position a little bit. There are no cannons here. The Vulture's maybe getting on in to the main base a little bit. There we go. Taking out some Zealots that are just popping out of these gateways. 151 to 112 total supply. Is there still not a third base? Keep looking for it. There's an SCV down there. ForGG pulling back to his siege tank. spider mine setup here where he feels safe. Well, I can push in here as long as there's no scans available. Once there's a scan, it gets really dicey. Now, that ForGG is doing this on 2 bases is actually pretty impressive stuff. But, once again, he's just getting shoved back. And I keep telling you, ForGG does not have a third. He needs to have a great success with one of these attacks, and he's just not having it. Is the problem. I cannot believe how long he's surviving on 2 bases. I guess there's a lot of resources on these mineral patches then, eh? Recall getting researched, 7 Dragoons at a time, 142 to 100 supply. Just keeping his bases alive, keeping his probes alive. At 71 now. 7 Dragoons are in production. I mean, this is just... Nah, man. Nah, man. ForGG is not winning this match. Hang on. He is building a 3rd base down here. So... If you can get a... Is it too late? Is the problem? I don't know, man. This is good. This is a good game. Started out a little bit slow, but ForGG's consistent, really nicely microed pressure has been excellent here. Once again, Cloak is available. The Vultures don't like that action. They're backing out. And a recall. There we go. I was waiting for that. Almost missed it anyway. Recall in the main. Oh, how much scan do you have? Enough scan, maybe, honestly. Vultures popping out to help with this. A lot of SCVs are dying, though. Like, they are fighting Dragoons. Not something they want to do. They're okay at it. Not something they want to do. Does he have a turret here? How is he... Guess he just has enough scans to clear that out. Then getting jumped on over here, though. It's not a huge Protoss army, but it's enough Protoss army with the 2-2 upgrades as well. That's so nice. 1-1 for the mech units for ForGG here. But that tank count, I keep talking about it. Tank count dropped to 3. And that's it. GG out. ForGG taps out. He knew. They're writing on the wall. He couldn't get any damage done. He managed to hold off the attacks from Light, which was nice. But at the end of the day, Game 1 does go, in fact, to Light, the off-racing Protoss player. So fantastic job by him. I mean, honestly, just so well done. It's just, it's who he is, man. He's good at Protoss. Even expanded here. It's just way too much income to overcome. His army's not huge. It's never overwhelmingly big, but it's been enough to save his natural base. Keep pushing ForGG back and back and back. He had enough army to recall into the main base of ForGG while he was at it. Just beautiful. That early attack, though. The early attack where he killed the 3rd was really the death knell. It's just a matter of good ForGG flashback enough to win. And the answer was no. 119,000 points in Game 1 here for Light. 96,000 for ForGG. Ended up producing 300. Outproducing the Protoss, but the kill ratio here is not good. If that's what you're going for. Structures raised, irrelevant. This is the thing right here. So many more minerals mined. He would have more gas mined than the Terran as well, except he didn't have many geysers taken. He just was interested in minerals, and that's what he got. Outspent by 10,000 in 17 minutes. That's going to win you a lot of games. So that is game number 1 of our not our sneaky 3-fer, but it's going to be a best of 3. So stick around. We'll see what happens in game number 2. I believe it's on Circuit Breakers. We'll be right back with that one. All right, game 2 is here on... Oh, come back, sound. There we go. We are on Circuit Breakers. Bottom right, Light. Into the teal again, and top left, Purple Terran. It is ForGG. All right, man. So I feel like Circuit Breakers is a pretty darn Terran-favored map, so Light's going to have his handful with ForGG. Because, again, ForGG is an excellent, legendary Terran player. I know I haven't cast a lot of his games, but... man, he is very excellent at micro, at macro. And on 2 base, he gave Light everything he could handle while Light was on 5 bases. So that is all you need to know here. Alright, so Circuit Breakers, the reason I say that it's Terran favored is we have low ground here for an expansion, low ground here for an expansion. It's just, I don't know. Just high ground tanks, right? High ground tanks. shelling these expansions. That is my abiding memory of this map, as long as Terran is involved. Anyway, once again, hey, Protoss is, it suits light, don't you think? Gateway coming up here inside the main base. I assume we're going to have a barracks, 150 minerals. And barracks on the low ground here. Maybe to help block a zealot that's trying to get into the main base. Anyway, thanks to everybody that is here. I really appreciate the support. I love casting Brood War, and I like seeing the channel growing and blah, all that stuff. Thanks everybody who has subscribed to me. 50,000 subscribers. That is not the end game, but man, that's a good milestone. Hit that subscribe if you haven't, if you enjoy Brood War, because I cast it and post it here 5 times a week. And man, there is a huge backlog of Brood War games in my channel that you want to go through. Yeah, here we go. Pretty much the same thing as game number 1, right? Yeah, pretty much the same darn thing. Actually, no. One rack's expanding here. Not going for the factory this time as ForGG. That's interesting. Where we are going for the Cybercore before expansion for light. And the Zealot is moving out. So that's the first indication that we're doing anything here. So trying to do some stuff here. Not going to find anything to do, unfortunately. And just going to expand. I mean, safe time to do so at this point. But this is really nice. I don't know if he snuck it in, but he should honestly be fine. It's a big map. Right? So the SCV is going to try to draw the Dragoon away, because the fewer Dragoons that are at ForGG's front door, the better for the Terran player. On the other side, it's just expanding with 1 gateway. Got 3 Marines in the bunker, and yeah, you're fine, honestly, at this point. There's obviously a factory coming up inside the main base, because you can't skip that for too long. If you're going to go for the 1 racks expand, then by golly, get a factory up as soon as you can after that, because otherwise, you're going to be in trouble. I mean, I guess you could go for a bio opening. We could definitely go for some Marines and medics and stuff. Try to push that way, but the longer the game goes on, the worse it is for that. Just because Storm exists, don't you know what I mean? Storm is an extremely good spell and is really good against Marines and medics and stuff. Robotics facility opening up again here for light. Not too surprised by that. Zealot going for, again, just a check on the expansion. He's just going to take some hits. Is there an expansion back there? There is. Excellent. Good for me. Academy coming up. For the ComSat, he's worried about potential DTs, which is entirely fair. And here's the ranged Dragoon. So here's the pressure. And this is why not having a factory kind of sucks, because this is what your deal is. You gotta repair. It's pretty much 1 SCV per Dragoon, so if this happens to you as a Terran player, 1 SCV per Dragoon. I guess you could probably hit that SCV. Yeah, he knows that too. He's gonna go to a bit of a safer location there. If there are 3 Dragoons, 3 SCVs, 4 Dragoons, 4 SCVs. It just scales up like that, very nicely and neatly. Alright, factory gonna produce a tank. That is just the easiest way to get rid of these Dragoons entirely, and that's exactly the plan. Because if you're trying to go for spider mines, you got to research that. That does take some time. Armory coming up. ComSat station is there at both bases. Again, a bit worried about Dark Templar. No real way to scout unless you have a ComSat station. It is scouting and detection all the way around. Yeah, see, and this is... Oh, he stopped repairing. He stopped repairing. There we go. The repair is back, and the bunker's alive. Just ForGG very smartly handling it. It sucks. I mean, it's 3 SCVs off the line, which is annoying. Which is, again, why we generally see Terran players in the current meta going for the factory before the expansion. Is because they want to avoid this stuff, where they're... I mean, it's minerals going out the door, too, because you're repairing, and that costs minerals to do so. You also don't want to get jumped on by these Dragoons if you're a siege tank. Siege mode is done, and now it's time to go. Great positioning. Just great positioning, and now Rion goes back. So, excellent, excellent job. Third base timing is now for light. Taking a second gas here at the natural base as well. And observatory, the first order of business after that robotics facility has been warped in. Checking to see no quick third base down there. No, there's definitely not. Second factory on the way for 6 minutes here at ForGG. And honestly, this is so far so good, I'd say, for both these players. I'm not sure anybody is ahead at this point in the game. It's 39 to 38 total workers. Yes, the third base is coming in. And yes, if you're on even economy versus a meching Terran player as Protoss or Zerg, you're probably going to die. There's just no way around it. You have to out-expand them to a wide amount, fair or not. Citadel of Adun coming in. That is your second level of tech getting warped in there for light. Observer scouting in, but I mean, there's really not much anything interesting to see here. It's multiple factories. The saturation on the natural base is incredibly heavy. Barracks scouting down this way. There are no shuttles in production, so we're not working on any Reaver drops, obviously, but there is a pretty quick Templar Archives here at 7 minutes. So whether we're going for Storm in this game, which again is super viable versus Mech, or maybe you don't really see Archons against Terran just because EMPs are so good. Ugh, they are so deliciously good. But ForGG just doing all the Terran-y things, getting Vulture speed, getting upgrades for his mech units, working on a science facility, getting a control tower on his starport. Templar Archives finishes. We're going to get Storm. Doesn't have the minerals for it yet, but now he does. We're going to see if that comes in or not. DT. Oh, 2 DTs coming in. Whether, man, it could be a Dark Archon. We have seen Dark Archon play on the channel recently, that's for sure. He's trying to, he's trying to back up to a position where the tank can't hit him, but he can block these vultures from getting out. That's what, we're covering this bridge that way. Oh, that's so good. Like, no, vultures, you're not allowed out of the house, it turns out. All right, these DTs I'm very curious about. You can make these into a Dark Archon? That would be interesting. So there they are. And yeah, check that action out. You got a Dark Archon 2 days in a row on the channel. That's very fun. Okay, but if you're watching this and you didn't watch the Artosis game from yesterday because you're like, let me just tell you, there are Dark Archons. There's a mind control in that game. And the Protoss player in the game does create their own Terran army. It's a PvT with tank lines on both sides. So, and also nukes. The thumbnail probably, that was obvious. Anyway, check it out if you haven't. I'm not kidding. You're not going to regret it. It's an amazing, amazing match. Whew. Tank 2 vultures coming on down. Vultures throwing down spider mines wherever they can. High ground is nice. Across this bridge is nice. Over here is good. Expansion locations, it's good too. Dropship dead. I mean, there's just no saving it. Ow, that hurts. Wow, that's just free money there. That is that's a dropship, a tank, and 2 vultures for nothing. Light looking okay. I'm gonna just tell you now. 4th base coming up for him. The 3rd base. This is where we were in the last game, and this is where an attack from Light took down the 3rd base of ForGG and really just snowballed from there. So we'll see if that happens here or not. He is making 8 Dragoons at a time. He's got an Arbiter Tribunal coming in. 4 Dem Arbiters, and he has the Dark Archon. Where is it? I just realized I lost the Dark Archon. He's in the shuttle. Are you honestly trying to steal an SCV? I don't know what else we're doing here, to be honest with you. Like, what else is a shuttle Dark Archon doing, if not trying to steal an SCV? And why are you all the way home? You didn't accomplish your mission. There's not an SCV here in the shuttle with you, so get back out there, man. You got to keep trying. Oh, mind control is not researched yet. Never mind. So why were you out there? What the heck, man? That's so weird. I can't think of a single reason a shuttle with a Dark Archon would be out there unless mind control has already been researched. That's it. Can't think of a reason. This is some pretty good vulture stuff. If you have enough vultures, you can take down these dragoons. We talk about this a lot. Like, yes, dragoons counter vultures, but if you have a situation where you're outnumbering them, like a 3-to-1 ratio, you're gonna be fine. SCV is not actually mining here at the natural base. Come on, ForGG, get with the program. You can do it. You can put those guys to work immediately. I believe in you. Carol Booster's coming up here for the Terran player. Third base rolling, and this is where it can get dangerous. Like, this is where things get a little bit difficult. Dark Archon mind controls the science vessel and actually gets it out of there alive. That's pretty good. EMP has not been researched, unfortunately, so the science vessel is really only going to be good for detection at this point. But hey, some free detection is never a bad thing with your observers, right? That's amazing. Defensive Matrix is up on this Dragoon, still pushing in. This is a big boy engagement here. Defensive Matrix, yeah, there we go, on a Dragoon. I said that without even fully really comprehending what was going on there. That's funny. Oh, science vessel died. Was that another science vessel that died? Did he get two? He might have gotten two. Man, is Light playing with his food here or what? This honestly feels like a pretty darn impressive game out of Light again, honestly. Trying to push on this third base. He's got a big army. This is pretty intense, honestly. The cloak is really nice as well. Zealot's trying to get... Yeah, Comsat Station. Burn that sucker down. Very nicely done. Purple army heading somewhere. Oh, he finished off this base. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. You set up tanks here, you burn down the Nexus, and then you just go back home. This is what I'm talking about here for this base. The third base is killed, though. Holy smokes. All right, so a base for a base here. It's 3 base to 2. I really feel like that favors ForGG a little bit more than it favors Light. Especially considering it is even supply. And again, it's hard to beat a Terran player if you have exactly even supply as a Protoss. Or as a Zerg. If they're meching especially. And what we're seeing here. +2 attack there for the mech. The Dragoons and Zealots are at +2 attack themselves. Zealots just eating spider mines because they can do so more than their Dragoon friends are capable of eating. Yeah, man. ForGG's just... He has a much bigger army than he was ever able to get in the last game. He had the third base long enough, and he's got a fourth base down here at the 9 o'clock, too. That's pretty intense. Zealot run by, trying to get on in, but, oh, body blocking this Vulture. Making sure nobody gets into that fourth base. Not allowed. No. This is a recall, though. I don't know what else this would possibly be. There it is. Response, pretty good. I gotta say, the army's not too far away from this location. Center kind of still being held by ForGG here. Oh, did he get another science vessel? I think he got another science vessel before he died. Dark Archon, maybe 3 science vessels mind control today, which is pretty fun. The drop in the main base is actually still doing stuff for Light, although slowly, once again, getting whittled down by the Terran army. It's 147 to 123 supply. ForGG has a big lead. Not replanting that southern base is a problem for Light. And this is what I'm talking about. This right side base over here. Tanks setting up on that high ground is a big time problem. It's exactly what they're going to do. Going to set up on the stairs. Just no high ground. Just high ground. Protected by a ton of vultures and spider mines here. This fourth base, I guess fifth base is toast, but the fourth base is gone. So de facto fourth base right now. Wait, you're giving up on this? Oh no, he's sieging up so we can actually hit the Nexus. That's fair. You can do that, I guess. See, now Light is in the precarious position of he's going to lose that base. He's trying to rebuild the one that's 6 o'clock, but he needs to kill something right now. Can he is the question. The Vultures are delaying exceptionally well with the Spider Mines here, pulling back and back and back and back. Spider-Mine's getting cleared out pretty effectively, again, by the +2 Dragoons. +3 just about done for these guys, too. Vultures at +2, not working on +3 themselves. But yeah, this 3 o'clock base is toast. It is gone. Now the third base in a bit of trouble here, too. Defensive Matrix on an Arbiter. The Arbiter gets defended Matrix. Is that what that was? I don't know what it is, but it's gone now. Maybe it was a Dragoon. Look at this, holding on to the third base. Reinforcements pushing the Dragoons away. Okay, that was huge from ForGG, keeping this base alive. He's on 4 bases, and ForGG is on 4 bases. 3 bases, because that 4th base is not back yet. Oh, that's massive. 146 to 121 supply. Terran is looking good. So what I like about this is this series has given good ammunition for both players. Or both fan types, right? If you think Terran's overpowered, then you can be like, this game too, look how overpowered Terran is. Tanks need to be nerfed. And in the last game, you're like, look how overpowered Protoss is. They need to steamroll over those tanks, no problem. So I understand we'll probably still see some balance complaints in the comments for this matchup, but I'm just telling you, I feel like it's pretty even. I feel like the Protoss can definitely win if they play it well enough. The Terran can win if they play it well enough. It's a skill-based matchup. I don't know that anything is incredibly overpowered here. That said, leaving your third base basically exposed is not an ideal situation. Turns out, the Dragoons aren't necessarily target firing either, which is a problem, and they're going to get chased away. So that could have been a lot more damaging. Like focusing the Comsat station, or focusing the command center, or focusing SCVs would have killed one of those things, I think. I mean, the SCVs were the guaranteed damage. You kill more SCVs if you didn't waste shots on the Comsat or that command center there. Is this another recall? Another recall, dude. The defensive matrix on this Arbiter. This is so good. Defensive matrix Arbiter plays, you guys. That's what we're looking at here today. Just going to recall on the main. It's no big deal. This was my defensive matrix Arbiter. He recalled an Arbiter in. ForGG loses his 4th base like it's his 4th base back. This has been intense, yo. This has been a really, really solid game number 2 here. Like, holy smoke solid. Oh, did he stasis his own zealots on the ramp? He did. He stasis his own zealots on the ramp so nobody could get up here. That is such a dirty move. That is such a dirty Protoss move. It's good. It's really good. It's one of the things that I feel pretty good about calling overpowered, is blocking off your opponent's ramp so they can't get in here to deal with the units that were recalled in to murder your stuff. Third base getting defended here. ForGG just having brute force number of +2 tanks. Storm getting tossed down really, really effectively, though. And third base survives. 4th base command center is landed. I think it came from the main because that was mined out. That's how desperate the situation is here. But, oh my gosh, we missed the death of the 6 o'clock base again. There's just too much going on in the north here. Dude, so Light's in trouble. Light is not mining well at all. ForGG at least has this. And he's got this now. This is not enough Dragoons to take this. This is way too many siege tanks, man. Way too many. That is, wow. Both players are almost at 100 supply or under right now. Production tab's a little bit healthier for Light. He's retaking the 6 o'clock for the 3rd time today. Here's another engagement in the middle of the map. Zealot trying to take down the tanks. Tanks down. Good target fire and then backing up. Not getting too greedy. There was Light, recognizing the threat. The tanks were back there. This is all spider mines. I keep thinking it's an army, but it's not. 108 to 108 supply, ladies and gentlemen. That's how nuts this is. Is this going to be another recall? Or is he just harassing with this one? Nope, that's a recall. My gosh, Light's recalls today. They haven't been game winning necessarily, but holy smokes, they've been good nevertheless. Like, hey, do you have any? Yes, you do. All right, there's the scan. There's the ComSat scan. Get on out. Wait for the scan to be over. All right, back on in. Yeah. Goliath's trying to shoo the Arbiter away because that's their job. There we go. On top of the tanks, causing some friendly fire splash there. And, no more tanks down. 98 to 88 supply. Scraptastic. A scrappy PVT here in game number 2. I am enjoying it immensely. There's not enough to handle these tanks, though. I don't know why Light's engaging into this. I don't think he needs to, nor really should he. Oh, nice snipes on those High Templar, though. That's just brutal. And that's a GG. Light does tap out on ForGG is your winner of game number 2. Which means we do get a game 3 here in our best of 3, which is always very fun. But yeah, that was... what an ending. Like, ForGG is barely sort of mining on 2 bases with 32 SCVs. Light's basically mining on 1 base with 39 probes. Not great. He lost this base. He lost the 6 o'clock twice. But again, he managed to kill the 3rd base. He did some really nice recalls in the main. He killed the 4th base over here at the 9 o'clock position once. So, I mean, Light did a ton of damage here, but just the counter damage and the base killing and just the sheer amount of army here with +2 attack was just too much. There was not enough. Light could not crack through that. Just incredible back and forth. Like, might have gotten an epic tag if it was all alone. And maybe this does get an epic tag. It's entirely possible. Shoo-wee. All right. So game 2 ends up with 156,000 points for Light, 160 for ForGG. Ended up outproducing the Terran by, golly, like 70, 80 units there. Or outkilling, rather. Didn't outproduce. That was the Terran. Vultures are cheap, man. You can make a lot of them. A lot more buildings raised in this game. Light again ahead of the count there. But this is a lot different, you'll notice. ForGG does not outspend, or gets outspent, right, by just 2,000 instead of 10,000 in this game. And the minerals mine is also a lot closer. Just couldn't get it to the number of bases that he wanted was Light. So ForGG, absolute boss. Incredible stuff. All right, so that's game 2. Let's move on to game number 3. Ooh, we're tied up 1-1. Who's going to come out on top? I don't know. You tell me. We'll be right back. Game number 3, we are back on ground 0. Top left. This time red. It is the Protoss player, Light. And in the bottom right here, we have ForGG. He is teal this game. What should we talk about during the early game here? You ever checked out FalconPaladin.store? It is the site for merch for Falcon Paladin stuff. We've got shirts, we've got hoodies, we have pillows and hats and mugs and all sorts of great stuff there. So go ahead and check it out, FalconPaladin.store. And if you're interested in podcasts, there's also the Falcon Paladin Hour. It is a weekly podcast featuring myself and Samacron, an Australian. So if you want to hear somebody talk about StarCraft, mostly StarCraft 2 to be fair, but also TV shows and movies and books and video games we're playing. I've had some really nice rants about Cyberpunk on the podcast recently. So if you want to hear my thoughts on that, we can talk about those. But anyway, just search Falcon Paladin on your podcast app. No matter what app you're using, I promise you'll find us. Also, we're on Spotify if you search Falcon Paladin Hour. If that is your music and podcast listening app of choice, Spotify is a way to go. Cool, right. So, let's see. What are we doing here today? Nothing interesting. I mean, nobody's proxying. We're not seeing any weird cannon rushes out of light. He just has some pretty solid macro play he's going for. It is a giant 4-player map in all fairness. So, the number of, like, successful cannon rushes you're going to see on a giant 4-player map, it's not going to be a lot, I guess. I wonder if we have numbers on that. Do you think we have any tracking? Like, maybe for tournament games we've been tracking this. How many cannon rushes, number one? How many cannon rushes take place on huge 4-player maps? As opposed to, you know, like smaller 4-player maps, I guess, would be the difference there. Because that's a big difference between StarCraft 2 and Brood War right now, is that 4-player maps in Brood War are the thing. And 2-player maps in StarCraft 2 are the thing. It's another reason for you guys to hate StarCraft 2. I get it. It's so weird to me that it's not just that, like, StarCraft fans prefer Brood War or StarCraft 2. They really, really like one and hate the other one. It's very strange how this works. I don't know. Are there other fan bases that are this split on something? I'm sure there are. I'm sure there are. Like, every band has groupies that are way into the new stuff the band does and groupies that are way into the old stuff the band does. It's just how it is. 'Tis the nature of the thing. Alright, so Light's doing what he's done so far. Ah, I lied. Citadel of a Dune? Is he DT rushing? Dude, 1 base Citadel this fast? It's gotta be, doesn't it? Meanwhile, look who went 1 racks expand. Got away with it in the last game. Worked out for him pretty well, I gotta say. ForGG should not have any complaints about the last game. His opening was fine. It got really scrappy after that. But the opening was clean. And did not get punished. So I think he's fine with it. You gotta sacrifice for a bunker. You have to make more Marines than you probably want to, but that base getting up faster is so nice. And that's a Templar, yeah. Templar Archives. Look at him hiding it up here there too. No! This has gotta set off some warning bells in ForGG's head. Okay, it's a 1 base opener out of the Protoss. He really doesn't want me to scout what's going on in there. It's gotta be something sneaky. Where's my academy? I gotta have ComSat. An engineering bay with turrets would be pretty good too. In fact, I prefer turret just because it's permanent detection instead of ComSat, which wears off. I don't know. The good thing about ComSat, though, is that it only costs energy instead of actual resources. So these are the trade-offs. These are what you have to consider. It has got to be DTs. Yeah, first DT coming out at 4 minutes. That is zippity-doo. Let's see what we're doing against Dark Templar. You can't just die to Dark Templar 4GG. Come on, man. There's your academy. All right, so he's going for ComSat. He's going to get there, I think, by the time the first DT arrives. Academies don't take super long to build. Neither do ComSat stations. I think we're going to be fine. I'm getting an armory just, you know, because I guess for Charon boosters, for Goliaths and stuff. Alright, it's hard to see you red DT on red lava. Yellow's easier, but yellow versus yellow is not good for anyone. This is, okay, here comes Sat. Jeez. This is tight. The DT is gonna have this teeny tiny window to be able to do stuff here. He's going for the main. It's gotta be SCVs, right? That's gotta be your target. Oh, if we can swipe this ComSat station. Hang on, hang on. Does the tank know that he's here? The tank's not sure. Okay, DT's here. Is he getting body blocked? But he's getting body blocked by the SCVs, but he gets out. He gets out of the scan range anyway. Our hero, Dark Templar, is doing stuff. He knows there's another scan available. He's worried about it. Oh, second scan. Had to deal with the second DT, which means this guy has some time. He's got some time to two-shot these SCVs, man. Oh, our hero, Dark Templar, doing some work. Oh, man. 4 kills on this guy already. He needs to, like, hold position and just kill workers. There we go. If they run away, then yes, fine. That's great. A lot of lost mining time here. The DT rush is real. Do you get the ComSat station? I kind of feel like you go after the ComSat station. Yes, there you go. Big swings. Big swings. Hey, bada, bada, bada. Hey, bada, bada, bada. Get that ComSat station before it can get 50 energy. Or just 7 kills, man. This is too much, man. This is okay. I think the Dark Templar has paid for himself now. He's... Wait, I'm going to say he's dead, but maybe he's not. He's not. He not dead. Is this another Dark Templar coming in? It is, but there's a missile turret at the front. Okay, so this guy dies. This guy's going to die because... Oh, did they hold? No, it wasn't in range yet. Oh my gosh, he got in the main. Dude, he can get that ComSat station. He's going after the supply depot instead. This is just picking ForGG apart, man. Lights, he's doing stuff that kills him, you know? Oh, friendly fire. Firing on that poor SCV standing next to the Dark Templar so that the DT would die. SCV giving his life for his friends. So good. Third base coming up. It's 36-44. Workers in favor of the Protoss. Are we surprised at all based on what we saw in the first 7 minutes? No. Absolutely not. That was fun. We don't get to see a lot of DTs. RJB, when he sent me these replays, he was like, they're all very good in their own ways. And I was like, okay, man. He's never steered me wrong. He's the guy. Meanwhile, Reaver dropping back here at the natural. Nope. Oh, actually, that did kill a couple SCVs. Not bad. Man, 33-52 workers. The first 8 minutes is not a good place to be if you're a Terran player. It's just been this cavalcade of harassment against the Terran, as all he's been trying to do is mac her up here, man. He hasn't tried to kill you at all. In fairness, he's been defending a lot. He hasn't had much chance to. But still, I say. Going for more Arbiter stuff here. Third base getting pretty happily saturated. Again, 56 workers is a lot for 3 bases. But in the end, everything's fine. For Light, he is just sitting pretty. Fine and dandy. Super happy guy. A lot of factories for 2 bases, if I'm honest with you. How much gas do you have available for tanks and stuff and upgrades and things? And Goliaths, too. Those are not cheap. 91-64 total supply? Yeah, a lot of that is in workers. But a bunch of that's in army here, too. Yeah, Goliaths ready for the shuttle drop. Maybe. Are they ready? What do you think? Well, you're heading right for them, so yes. Yeah, backing out. Saw what's going on over there. And just containing. All right, we're going to do this thing where... Ah, the vulture squeaked out. Breaking the contain. Hang on, jump on him. Yeah, push the tanks back. That's what... I was going to say, the tanks shouldn't be able to do this. Meanwhile, Vulture gets all the way inside the main base of Light. Starts going after some of the probes. Throws down a spider mine instead. Okay, that's fine, I guess. Whatever. It's whatever it is. Unsiege tanks, man. Kind of bosses. Right? They're kind of bosses. I think they are. And here's a push from ForGG. Loving this. Liking this a lot. Vultures can't get into this third base, but siege tanks absolutely can. It is 36-63 workers right now. Once again, economy is on fire for Light, which he needs it to be to compete with +1 tanks like this. It's all very fair. Kakaru observing the massacre, or the oncoming battle. Kakaru! Kakaru! He says. Slowly sieging forward here. Looks like Light wants to expand again while this is happening. Zealot bomb in the tanks. Bunch of them on siege, though. Doesn't go as well as I think Light wanted that to there, yeah? Good positioning here. Oh, this is so good. It's hard to jump on these tanks because they're protected by these rocks. But they can shoot across them, that's for sure. Observer here scouting around. ForGG, no sign of a third base. He's doing the 2 base shenanigans without losing a third base this time. I kind of like this choice. I like what he's doing here. He's like, you know what? Being down by 1 base is not a huge deal. My tanks are incredibly cost efficient. Let's go ahead and try to kill Light 3 bases or 2 bases to 3. I love this. I don't need 30 tanks. Let's go ahead and just show up with 10 or maybe 11 and see what we can get done at 12 minutes. This is fantastic. Arbiters are out. Again, it helps immensely with, you know, cloaking and stuff. The Vultures doing all right for themselves. Largely keeping the Zealots preoccupied so they can't jump on top of these tanks. This is a really intense situation. ForGG, again, not expanding. I'm pointing this out again to you. He is not taking a third base. He is just 2 base pumping Goliaths and Vultures right now. His tank count is pretty happy, it turns out. Light pushing in with the Zealots. Arbiter providing that cloak, forcing scans all the time. Coming in from the top side, Dragoons trying to finish off here. The Arbiter trying to, again, to provide that cloak. The scan is just consistently coming in through here. He hasn't had to use the scan for anything for a while, but is he out of it now? He's got 1 more scan available back home. Stasis is done. Do you have enough energy for a stasis? No. Dude, is ForGG gonna do this thing? Wow, Arbiter goes down. The Goliaths mixed in here are just super good. It's 58 to 35 workers, but sometimes economy has no bearing on who wins the game. It's strange, but at this stage, the bigger army is definitely winning here. Really keeping Light on his back foot after those early engagements and that early harassment with the DTs and with the Reavers. He's in siege tank range of the natural Nexus, you guys. This is tight stuff. Another Arbiter wanders in. Takes some hits. Another shuttle down. Dude, these Goliaths, 5 kills on that Goliath before it dies. Light trying to push back the tanks. They're kiting as well as they can. Reinforcements pouring in from ForGG here, though. My gosh, this is incredible stuff. The Dragoons aren't even microing anymore. Another tank does go down, but what is left here? We're producing 8 Dragoons and 3 Zealots at a time. This is an incredibly desperate situation for Light right now. He's got Terran on his front doorstep. He doesn't have enough to defend it. The Vulture control here by ForGG has been insanely good. Really insanely good here. Dragoons popping out of their gateways just in the nick of time to try to help save the day. +1 attack has been researched for both of these players, but this natural base is toast. The Dragoons are not enough. It's exactly even on supply right now, but there's more workers for Light, which means the army is bigger. And if it's bigger and it's tanks, it's more cost efficient as well. Light is not tapping out here. He has no interest in doing that. And there we go. He has interest in doing it. He taps out, and ForGG comes out on top in our best of 3 series here for today. I loved that push from ForGG. I know I mentioned it as it was happening, but seriously, being on 2 bases and just being like, you know what, I've got enough tanks. I know that the Protoss player is trying to be greedy. Let's go push them. Let's go push them and see if we can get something done. Let's see if we can kill one of their bases and then be on 2-2 bases and be fine. That was good, man. I mean, he took a lot of damage from that Reaver drop and from the DTs, and it didn't matter. He came back strong. He pushed on this Nexus. He got it taken down. He made good trades. The Goliaths paid for themselves over and over again. The siege tanks were great. That's a 9-kill siege tank, everyone. The Arbiters couldn't quite make it happen. I don't think they ever had enough energy for a stasis, which would have been incredible, but that's kind of part of the reason for attacking this soon, too, is there's no stasis available. Researches are a little bit later for things like Arbiters, tier 3 units, you know? Gorgeous, man. ForGG, what a boss. That was a good game from him. A GGG from him. 77,000 points to 79,000 points. ForGG takes the lead there. Actually, hold on. No. Wait, yes, he does. God, they swapped their colors. And they're both barcodes, so it freaks me out. But yeah, he does take the lead. Units killed here. Structures even on raised, which is kind of hilarious. And this is, again, Protoss. More minerals mined. More total spent by about 7,000. But just the cost efficiency of getting siege tanks with 9 kills, just kind of over and over, stuff like that, makes it happen. And ForGG takes the win today. Oh, beautiful. All right, so that right there is going to be it from me today. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered and a best of 3. Go ahead, hit the like button, hit the subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.